Hi, I'm Teo, and this is Fix Your Ankle. And today we're talking about the poor advice that you may be getting from the internet, your friends, or your family that are not serving you and are actually getting in the way of you overcoming your chronic ankle pain. So today we're going to be talking about three main myths, not really myths, but things that you should be avoiding. Okay, the first is rest. Is rest good after an ankle sprain? When is it good? When is it harmful? Secondly, when to ice or to ice at all, and the pros and cons of icing. Thirdly, should I get a cortisone injection? When should I get a cortisone injection? And what good does it do? Like, how does it help me? Number one, rest. Is it helpful or is it harmful? Rest has its role, but I think it's overdone. Actually, I know it's overdone. After you sprain your ankle, if it's not fractured, and only about 15% of serious ankle sprains when they swell up are actual fractures. So 85% of them aren't fractures, and you don't need to get a cast and you don't need to be immobilized. For those 85%, you should be using your ankle as quickly as you can. And there's two reasons. Number one, when you sprain your ankle and it's super swollen and that swelling needs to go. How do you get swelling gone? How do you get it to go away? You move it. And you can't move it if you're immobilizing it and putting a little boot on it so you don't move it. That doesn't help reduce swelling. So the main reason why you should not be resting your ankle after you sprain it, I'm really talking to the people here that have been in chronic ankle pain for a while. This is also relevant to people that just sprained it. If you just sprained your ankle and it's not fractured and you're able to put weight on it, you should hobble around your house because that's going to help it heal faster. Because when you're using your ankle, you keep the tendon strong. When you immobilize it, even if you just immobilize it for 2 weeks and you're on crutches for 2 weeks, that's enough time for the tendons and muscles to weaken and atrophy, which then means that when you do start walking again, which you will, you're now in a more compromised position and you might roll it again because the tendons are weaker. Also, muscle atrophy, which is when muscles get smaller, and that could happen within 2 weeks of no movement. Muscle atrophy in itself is a cause for joint pain. That's why elderly people have a lot of joint pain. It's not just because of osteoarthritis, it's also because their muscles have atrophied, and that is what's causing them to be in pain. Or contributing to their pain. All right. So if you sprained your ankle and it was 6 months ago and you want to rest it after daily and you want to elevate it and rest it, you're actually not really helping yourself out. On to the next one, ice and anti-inflammatories. These two things help with pain in the short term, but they're not your friend when it comes to long-term healing because they actually slow down the healing process. Ice and anti-inflammatories, they mask the symptoms by numbing the area. They actually do it by reducing the inflammation of the area. However, inflammation is essential in healing. Inflammation brings new blood to the injured site. It brings autoimmune factors into the site so it heals faster. And what we do when we put ice or take anti-inflammatories is we slow down that process. It's kind of the epitome of instant gratification because you get the pain relief, but it bites you in the ass later on because you impeded the healing process. Not to say that anti-inflammatories also have long-term adverse effects if you use them a lot and for a long time. Studies have shown that you could get gastric ulcers, stomach ulcers, if you use anti-inflammatories for too long, or even liver diseases. And these are not things that we want, obviously. So by going down that road, you're actually creating more problems than it solves. So best to avoid that. Use it when you need it, but don't rely on it as a long-term strategy. Now, cortisone shots. All right, so when a patient comes to me and they say, hey, Teo, should I get a cortisone shot for my ankle pain or whatever joint pain they have? I say, well, it depends. And I start with the negatives because I'm not a big fan of cortisone shots. And this is why. Cortisone shots are quite expensive to start with, $200 US dollars to $1,000 US dollars, and they don't always work. Either the practitioner doesn't inject it into the right tendon and it doesn't provide any relief, and sometimes they do inject it into the right tendon, but you don't get any relief. So it's just like, spending money for nothing. Secondly, if it does provide you with relief, it's only temporary, at best 6 months. So you're really paying for short-term relief, which could have value, right? But wait till the downside of cortisone shots. This has now become more prevalent in the literature. It shows that cortisone shots actually could degenerate the tendon. Did you hear that? The thing that you're putting inside your body to help you is actually hurting you. It provides short-term relief. It actually acts the same way as ibuprofen or anti-inflammatories. It slows down the inflammatory process, even more so than ibuprofen. It's a really potent steroid, cortisone. So it's going to really help with pain, but it's really going to shut down the process entirely, which is then going to prevent it from healing. That is just not, in my eyes, not the best solution. Also, there are cases where the cortisone shot, the injection, the needle actually ruptures the tendon. The needle's not small, it's pretty thick. It's a hypodermic needle. And when you insert into a tendon, sometimes for a weak tendon, it could rupture. And that's not fun, because that means you surgically need to reattach the tendon, which is not fun. There is a caveat. I do suggest, or I do say, that cortisone shots can be a good idea in certain situations. So suppose you had an important life event, whether it was a wedding, an important presentation, and you just needed to be pain-free for that given amount of time, and you couldn't bear the pain. And I'm not good at dealing with pain, so no judgment there. But you just needed to be pain-free for a certain amount of time. The cortisone shot could be worthwhile then. But it's really just a one-off. And after that life event is over, the wedding, the presentation, then you need to take a more reliable strategy. So that's what I would say to my patient. So we've talked about 3 things that you really shouldn't do or don't help you for your ankle pain. So what should you do? Okay, I dislocated my ankle 3 years ago, which sucked. And I had chronic ankle pain afterwards. And what helped me and what helps people with chronic pain get over their chronic pain is really strengthening and adding resilience to the joint. What I mean by that is when you strengthen the tendons and muscles around an ankle joint or any joint, that joint is now more able to handle load, walking, jumping, moving, and just improves its resiliency. It's not a quick fix. It's not like taking an ibuprofen where 20 minutes later you don't experience the pain anymore. But it is the ultimate fix. It creates real adaptation in your ankle so that it is stronger than it was before. And that's the way out of chronic ankle pain. It's not necessarily an easy strategy, but it's by far the best, and it provides meaningful results. So for the people out there that are frustrated with their ankle pain and they've tried so many things and it's not getting better, don't give up. There's a way out. I had to do a lot of experimentation because classical physical therapy did not help. I had to go beyond that, doing kind of really specific exercises to help my ankle because I dislocated it and I tore my ligaments and tendons because my ankle literally came out of its socket. But from my journey, I've found 4 essential exercises that really help rebuild that resilience in the ankle. And I've actually created a free guide for you to download so that you could have it free. I want you to have it because it's going to help you. It's going to help you way more than that ibuprofen, way more than a cortisone shot, and you could do it anywhere. It doesn't require any equipment. So just go in my description and download it for free. Check it out, try it. If you have any questions, write it in the comments and I'll reply to you, I promise. If you want me to cover a topic in a future episode, write it down and I'll do that. All right, see you guys.